Good morning and welcome to the Comms Group Limited Investor Webinar. I'm Jane Morgan, the Investor and Media Relations Manager, and today I'm joined by Mr. Peter McGrath, CEO and Managing Director. We also have the company's CFO, Mr. Matthew Beale, on the call to elaborate on some of the financials if we need to. So welcome to you both, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Jane.
Comms Group provides a full range of advanced communications, collaboration, and secure modern workplace IT solutions from the cloud for businesses in Australia and globally. The company has seen solid growth in revenue and profit over the last few years, with record revenue and profit in FY24, and recently announced an inaugural fully franked dividend. Today's presentation will be followed by a Q&A session. To ask a question throughout today's webinar, please use the Q&A function, which can be found at the bottom of your screen. Peter, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you, Jane, and thanks everyone for attending today. I would like to introduce you to Matthew Beale, our CFO, and also myself as CEO. Just as a point of background, we've been with the business circa 5 years. We've seen solid growth in that period of time, both in revenue and profitability. I've got a history running a number of telco businesses successfully over a number of years, and Matthew's had experience as CFO in a number of companies as well. Management and key directors are key shareholders in this business as well. We have a strong conviction on our ability in the marketplace and our ability to continue to grow this business over time. This update today will cover our FY24 results and then talk a bit about the outlook and the strategy as well. Firstly, who are we? We're a specialised cloud communications and managed IT services provider to businesses. So we're a B2B provider. We're very focused in the markets that we operate. We have great products and services, and we can have that level of differentiation in the market for the customers we target. Been listed since 2017, and you can see our operations are quite extensive in Australia and overseas into Singapore, London, and the Philippines, and then more particularly across the Asia Pacific region as well, which I'll elaborate on. Being a B2B provider, we focus on specific sectors of the marketplace. We don't do any residential. We're really focused on business customers in the SME to mid-market, and then, of course, enterprise and government. And we also sell to wholesale customers and international telcos and the like. As a business, we have a key focus on cash generation and generating strong shareholder returns. And I think you'll see that come out through this presentation. We're not a company that's focused on growth and hoping that one day we'll be profitable. We're a company that's focused on generating strong returns for shareholders and generating cash here and now, but also seeing growth in the business. We have 3 key divisions which are listed there, and I'm just going to elaborate on those 3 divisions a little bit more with the next slide here when we talk about us. So our key tagline is that we want to help businesses be more agile, but we want to make sure that they're more agile with a very safe IT environment and with the latest communications and collaboration solutions. We do sell a lot of standard products and solutions from the marketplace. We sell best of breed, if you like, but the way that we pull these together and service them from our own infrastructure allows us to have a differentiation in the marketplace. There are very few providers out there in the market like us, focusing on the segments that we do and with the specialisation and the high level of customer service that we have. So we have a cloud communications and collaboration business. That's a domestic business that's providing the latest communication products to businesses domestically with a strong focus on unified communications. Our secure modern workplace solutions business is a business that we acquired a number of years ago. That's been a fantastic business for us. We're seeing good, solid growth in that business. And what we do is we help corporate customers have in place the most secure and latest generation, what we call modern workplace solution so they can go about running their businesses and not be worried about whether their environment is going to suit them or not. And then finally, we have another business which is focused more so on global unified communications. So those businesses that operate offshore, whether they're Australian or European or American, that have multiple locations, we want to give a consistent high level of service and the same great products and solutions to those customers as well. So that's our global UCaaS and wholesale business. We happen to also sell our solutions via some large telcos and service providers in the region as well, who then sell our solutions to their end customers. We brand that business Comms Group Global. Some highlights from FY24. So FY24 was a record year for us in terms of revenue and EBITDA. And in a way, it was a culmination of a number of years of hard work, some acquisitions, some selective acquisitions that we made. And we brought all that together in FY24 with what was a record year for us. Our revenue was 55.5 million. We exceeded guidance, and our underlying EBITDA was 6.6 million, which was in line with guidance. And a key attribute of our business is that over 90% of the revenue is recurring. It's service fee based. We're not the type of business that each year has to go out and sell a lot of hardware, etc. In fact, hardware and one-offs are a small component of our revenue. A real standout result for us was our cash generation within the year. And we saw operating cash flow increase significantly, 150% to 3.8 million. And not being a CapEx heavy business, being services based predominantly, we saw our free cash flow increase as well. And that increased by 200% to 3.5 million. We're a business that continues to sell new services to existing and new customers. Every month, every quarter, we have sales targets. And within the year, our new sales contracts that we signed were 7.5 million in new ARR, in recurring revenue. As well as focusing on, the mid-market and corporate customers, we also have some key strategic accounts, which I mentioned on the last slide. We have circa 6 of these strategic accounts today, and these are accounts where we provide our great products and solutions via these organisations so that they can sell these to their end customers. And one of those key strategic accounts is Vodafone Group. We service them globally, and we provide them some fantastic unified communication solutions. So we want to continue to expand the relationship with them, with both Vodafone and these other strategic accounts. Synergy work from previous acquisitions has been successful, and we delivered strong gross margins. That was a key highlight. And then really pleased to announce that to advise you that we announced an inaugural dividend of 0.25 a share, and that's fully franked. And I'll talk about that a little bit more shortly. I just want to touch briefly on our global business. Our global business, which is a business that provides the latest generation unified communications as a service solutions to multinational corporates. We cover over 65 countries, but we particularly focus on the Asia Pacific region. An example of that would be Microsoft Teams and Cisco WebEx PSTN calling. So you're a large multinational. You've got, say, a dozen countries or a dozen offices in Asia Pacific, covering a dozen countries or so. You want a unified solution. And the key trend out there in the market is the top end of the market, right down to mid-market, is going to a unified communication solutions, with Teams being the predominant solution that they're adopting. And that's a key area we've been focusing on for a number of years. Our second segment of global is our wholesale voice solutions for large carriers and over-the-top providers. An example here would be in the Philippines, where we provide services to a range of customers, but an example would be a large contact center company that then is using our solution to provide services to their end customer, which may be a major corporate, either domestically or within the region. They're the types of solutions we provide in global. So we have this key focus on the Asia Pacific. We're eager to take other products to market as well as our secure modern workplace solutions. And one of the things I'm going to talk about slightly is the big expansion we made in Asia Pacific with a number of countries that we now have licensed. And more recently, about a week or so ago, we announced a significant contract win with a global software as a service provider in partnership with Vodafone Business, and this contract is worth a minimum of 2.4 million over 3 years. We have expectations of seeing further growth through similar contracts moving forward. This map, if you like, or this diagram shows you what our network looks like offshore. This is our voice points of presence in key countries offshore. I don't want to go into too much detail on that other than to say that we've probably had this in place for about 5 years. And you'll see in the Asia Pacific region in particular, we have points of presence in each of the key countries. On the right-hand side there, I'm just elaborating a little bit more on what I've talked about on the previous slide, where we focus on unified communication solutions for large corporates. We also provide wholesale voice services. Our goal is to continue to focus on this area, particularly Asia Pacific, and be a leading provider. And you'll see there, and we made this announcement about 2 or 3 months ago, that we now have a significant number of licenses in place across the Asia Pacific region, which gives us a license to operate in these markets. They're relatively low touch, though. We don't need to put a lot of staff in the marketplace. Once we have the license, we can run the businesses predominantly from our staff in Singapore, Philippines, and Australia, but we have the right then to go and sell unified communications within these countries. And so we have 13 key countries today across the region that we focus on. We have expanded more recently into South America and South Africa. In particular, with South America, we see that as a key growth area. It's underserviced as well. And similar to Asia Pacific, we don't need to put many staff on the ground, if any at all. We can run these services remotely from Australia. Just turn briefly now to our financial highlights for FY24. So in FY24, we saw solid growth in revenue, gross profit, underlying EBITDA. Our revenue was up 7% to 55.5. Our gross profit was up nearly 10%. That was a really good result from our perspective to 26 million. We're making 26 million in gross profit. That's a significant increase over the last few years, you'll see shortly. Our underlying EBITDA up 36% to 6.6 million, and some great results with our cash flow, with both operating cash flow and free cash flow. I'll elaborate on those a little bit further shortly. In terms of our revenue, our gross profit, you can see it here. Our revenue going from 52 to 55. Our gross margin's very solid at circa 47.5%, so we increased that year on year. And what we've done is we've had a strategy when we bought these other businesses. We've had a clear plan on synergies, and we could see how we can increase the margins. We increased the margins in 2 areas. In our voice area, we have a very advanced network, low cost of operation, and we focus very much on getting well-priced services wholesale from our suppliers. And secondly, we have our own layer 2, layer 3 network. So in the NBN area, we have a very low cost to provide those services to our customers, and that increases the margin. So with the acquisitions we've made, we've brought those customers onto our own network, and we've seen our gross margin increase significantly over the last 4 or 5 years. We kept our OPEX largely flat, which was, I think, a really good effort considering the pressures in the market. And as a result, we saw that strong increase in underlying EBITDA. We also saw increases down there with operating profit before tax, etc., within the business. Second half of the year as well, we saw an increase in both revenue and EBITDA versus the first half. See here from this particular slide, you see the growth in our revenue, and the top chart there shows you the first half versus the second half. So the second half was a really good half for us in FY24. And then down in the bottom, you'll see the operating revenue by business unit. Our domestic cloud communications and collaboration business was largely flat, but we were very happy to have a position where we could keep that flat while we focused on growing the profit within that particular business. Our secure modern workplace solutions, this is the business that provides, the latest generation ICT solutions for corporate customers. It's seen good, solid growth over a number of years, so we're really happy with that. And our global and wholesale business saw, strong growth in the year as well. One of the key factors that we're focusing on, we saw some of that in FY24, is the cross-sell of our secure modern workplace solutions to our telco customers. Our gross profit, you can see how we've increased that from back in FY21, 11 million to 19 million to 24 million to 26 million. So we're really happy with that improvement in gross profit. And then our underlying EBITDA by business unit, you can see the growth over the last 3 or so years there as well. In terms of cash flow, you'll see here that we're showing our operating cash flow after income tax, after lease payments. And so when we take all that into account, you can see that we had a significant increase in operating cash flow from FY23 to FY24, 153%. We focus on cloud services, whether that's cloud communications or whether that's, our secure modern workplace. And as a result, we don't have a lot of CapEx, which is a strong positive attribute within the business. So a lot of that operating cash flow has fallen down to free cash flow. So our free cash flow in FY24 of 3.5 million, up nearly 200%, was a fantastic outcome for us. As a result, we've increased our cash flow, our closing cash quite significantly within the year. In terms of the balance sheet, just very briefly, you see the cash there at 30 June, 3.6 million. Our balance sheet continues to improve. We do have a CBA term loan facility at 7.6 million, which we've extended to August 2026. So effectively, we've got net debt there of about 4 million within the business. Our inaugural dividend, having this key focus on cash generation, generating strong shareholder returns, we do want to make sure that we can return or reward shareholders with dividend returns. So we've announced this inaugural dividend, 0.25 per share, fully franked. We've also introduced a dividend reinvestment plan. So this is now working through in terms of some updates to shareholders, that those who aren't in the DRP plan that would like to be. And you can see here that the record date is the 30th September, ex-dividend date 27th September. We expect to make these payments around about the 16th of October. Just quickly move now to strategy. Our strategy to become a leading cloud communications, secure modern workplace solutions provider in the APAC region. So we continue to have a strong focus on Australia. We're very careful how we go into the Asia Pacific. We only want to sell to credit-worthy, larger businesses. So we will, though, look to move into the Asia Pacific where we have that type of customer. We also are focusing on a cross-sell of our secure modern workplace solutions, our ICT solutions, to our wider customer base of circa 5,000 customers in the telco area. We want to continue to grow our relationship with strategic accounts. These are the likes of Vodafone and others, where we can include additional products and services, and also with that geographical reach. We are working on the digital transformation of the business, so we effectively have common group-wide processes, and with the goal to move to a common platform on one business over time. We do want to continue to increase our operating and free cash flow, so we can continue to give good returns to shareholders. And we will look at strategic growth opportunities in terms of acquisitions where appropriate, to both increase scale and also add additional capabilities to the business. Our outlook for the business for FY25, we expect to see organic revenue growth. And one thing I should mention about the FY24 result, which I missed earlier, is that our growth was all from organic revenue within FY24, year on year, solid growth in organic revenue. So we'd like to continue to see that in FY25. We expect EBITDA to grow, and we're also targeting an increase in operating cash flow and an improvement in free cash flow conversion. So, that's the amount of free cash flow or cash flow that flows out of EBITDA. We want to continue to improve that over time. Jane, I think at this stage, that's all I wanted to cover in the presentation.
Wonderful. Well, that is all we have time for today, but I want to thank you again for joining us for the Comms Group Limited Investor Webinar. A copy of today's recording will be available online in the coming days.